The Gallipoli Campaign of 1915 to 1916 was a daring gamble, a brutal struggle, and a tragic lesson in the horrors of modern warfare. Fought on the rugged shores of the Gallipoli Peninsula in modern-day Turkey, this campaign was envisioned as a swift, decisive operation that could knock the Ottoman Empire out of World War I. Instead, it became a prolonged and devastating struggle, forever remembered for its extraordinary acts of courage, its staggering loss of life, and its profound impact on the nations involved. The plan, a bold vision. By early 1915, World War I had settled into a grim stalemate on the Western Front. Seeking a way to break the deadlock, the Allied powers turned their attention to the Ottoman Empire, Germany's vulnerable ally. A plan emerged to seize the Dardanelles Strait, a narrow but vital waterway connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Black Sea. The operation aimed to achieve several objectives: open a supply route to Russia, cripple the Ottoman war effort, and perhaps even encourage other nations in the region to join the Allies. Winston Churchill, then First Lord of the Admiralty, championed the plan as a bold alternative to the grinding attrition of trench warfare. However, this ambitious strategy underestimated the Ottomans' resilience and overestimated the Allies' ability to coordinate such a complex operation. The naval offensive, a shattered dream. The campaign began with a naval assault in February and March 1915. Allied warships, including British and French vessels, attempted to force their way through the heavily fortified Dardanelles. The Ottomans, aided by German advisors, had fortified the strait with mines, artillery, and machine gun nests that turned the waterway into a deadly gauntlet. On March 18th, the Allies suffered a catastrophic defeat when several of their battleships, including HMS Irresistible and the French warship Bouvet, were sunk by Ottoman mines. The losses forced the Allies to abandon the naval offensive and pivot to a land invasion, a decision that would lead to one of the bloodiest campaigns of the war. The landings, a costly gamble. The land invasion began on April 25, 1915. British, French, Australian, and New Zealand troops landed at multiple points along the Gallipoli Peninsula. The Anzac forces, soldiers from the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, landed at what would become known as Anzac Cove, while British and French troops stormed beaches at Cape Hell. From the outset, the landings were fraught with disaster. Poor planning, insufficient intelligence, and fierce Ottoman resistance turned the beaches into killing fields. At Anzac Cove, soldiers scrambled up steep cliffs under relentless fire. At Cape Helles, Allied troops faced fortified positions and deadly machine gun fire, resulting in staggering casualties. Despite these challenges, the Allies managed to establish precarious footholds. However, their advance was halted by the Ottomans, led by Mustafa Kemal, a brilliant commander who would later become the founder of modern Turkey. Kemal's leadership and the determination of his troops turned the campaign into a bitter stalemate. The battle for Lone Pine and the Neck, valor and tragedy. As the campaign dragged on, the Allies launched a series of offensives in an attempt to break through Ottoman lines. One of the most infamous battles occurred at Lone Pine, where Australian troops managed to capture Ottoman trenches in a ferocious close-quarters fight. The victory came at a heavy cost, with thousands of soldiers killed or wounded. At the Neck, a tragic miscommunication led to the slaughter of Anzac troops in a futile charge against Ottoman defenses. Wave after wave of soldiers advanced into a hail of machine gun fire, with devastating results. The battle epitomized the futility and human cost of the Gallipoli Campaign. The conditions. Hell-on-earth life for soldiers on both sides was a nightmare. The terrain was rugged and unforgiving, with steep cliffs, narrow ravines, and dense scrub that made movement and supply lines difficult. The summer heat brought swarms of flies, disease, and the stench of unburied bodies. Water and food were scarce, and morale suffered as soldiers endured relentless shelling and sniper fire. As winter set in, the conditions grew even worse. Freezing temperatures, torrential rain, and snowstorms added to the misery. Trenches flooded, soldiers suffered from frostbite, and supply lines struggled to meet basic needs. Yet despite the hardships, the soldiers on both sides fought with remarkable tenacity. The evacuation, a remarkable feat. By late 1915, it was clear that the Gallipoli Campaign had failed. The Allies had underestimated the Ottomans, and their objectives were no closer to being achieved. With mounting casualties and no end in sight, the decision was made to withdraw. The evacuation, carried out in December 1915 and January 1916, was one of the most successful aspects of the campaign. Using clever deception tactics, including fake camps and phantom artillery, the Allies managed to withdraw tens of thousands of troops under the cover of darkness without significant losses. The aftermath. Lessons learned. The Gallipoli Campaign was a strategic failure, with the Allies suffering over 250,000 casualties, including dead, wounded, and missing. Ottoman losses were similarly devastating. Despite its failure, the campaign had profound consequences. For the Ottoman Empire, Gallipoli was a rare victory and a source of immense pride. It bolstered national morale and solidified Mustafa Kemal's status as a hero. For the Allies, the campaign highlighted the importance of thorough planning, inter-service cooperation, and respect for the complexities of modern warfare. For Australia and New Zealand, Gallipoli became a defining moment in their national identities. The sacrifices of the Anzac troops are commemorated every year on April 25th, Anzac Day, a day of remembrance that honors their courage and resilience. Legacy of Gallipoli. The Gallipoli Campaign remains a powerful symbol of both the heroism and the futility of war. It serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the enduring impact of courage and sacrifice. Though it ended in failure, the campaign left an indelible mark on history, shaping the identities of nations and offering lessons that continue to resonate a century later. Reflections on courage and humanity. Gallipoli was not just a clash of armies, but a confrontation of human endurance, ingenuity, and spirit. Amid the horrors of war, stories of camaraderie and mutual respect emerged. Soldiers on opposing sides, though locked in brutal combat, often displayed remarkable acts of humanity. In moments of ceasefire, troops exchanged gifts, retrieved the fallen, and even acknowledged each other's bravery across the trenches. For the Ottoman defenders, the campaign was a testament to their resilience against a formidable and better-equipped enemy. Despite their limited resources and the immense pressure from multiple fronts, their resolve held firm. Mustafa Kemal's famous order, "I am not ordering you to attack, I am ordering you to die," exemplifies the sheer determination that defined the Ottoman effort at Gallipoli. For the Allied forces, particularly the Anzac troops, the campaign was a baptism of fire. Many were young men far from home, fighting in a war that they barely understood. Yet they demonstrated extraordinary courage, forging bonds that would last a lifetime and creating a legacy that would define their nations for generations. A turning point for modern Turkey. Gallipoli also marked a critical moment in the birth of modern Turkey. Mustafa Kemal's leadership not only secured victory for the Ottoman forces, but also laid the foundation for his rise to prominence. In the years following the war, he would lead the Turkish War of Independence, overthrowing foreign influence and establishing the Republic of Turkey in 1923. Today, Gallipoli is a cornerstone of Turkish national identity. The campaign is remembered with solemn pride, and the battlefield has been preserved as a place of pilgrimage for Turks and visitors from around the world. Mustafa Kemal's words to the Anzac mothers, inscribed on a memorial at Gallipoli, continue to resonate. Those heroes that shed their blood and lost their lives. You are now lying in the soil of a friendly country. Therefore, rest in peace. There is no difference between the Johnnies and the Mehmets to us where they lie side by side here in this country of ours. You, the mothers who sent their sons from faraway countries, wipe away your tears. Your sons are now lying in our bosom and are in peace. After having lost their lives on this land, they have become our sons as well. Gallipoli's influence on the Anzac spirit for Australia and New Zealand. Gallipoli became much more than a military campaign. It became the foundation of the Anzac spirit, symbolizing courage, mateship, and perseverance. These values have transcended generations, influencing national culture and identity. The losses at Gallipoli were staggering, but they also unified two young nations, fostering a sense of shared sacrifice and pride. Today, Anzac Day is not just a day of mourning, but a celebration of resilience and the human spirit. Ceremonies in Australia, New Zealand, and Gallipoli itself honor the fallen while reflecting on the cost of war and the importance of peace. The enduring lessons of Gallipoli. The Gallipoli Campaign offers invaluable lessons for military strategy, diplomacy, and humanity. It underscores the dangers of underestimating an opponent, the complexities of coalition warfare, and the importance of adapting to the realities of the battlefield. More importantly, Gallipoli serves as a reminder of the profound cost of war, not just in lives lost, but in the physical and emotional scars left behind. The bravery displayed on both sides of the conflict highlights the resilience of the human spirit even in the darkest times. Conclusion: Gallipoli's place in history. The Gallipoli Campaign was a microcosm of the larger tragedy of World War I, a conflict driven by ambition, marred by miscalculation, and defined by extraordinary human sacrifice. It was a campaign that changed nations, shaped leaders, and etched itself into the collective memory of the world. Today, the Gallipoli Peninsula stands as a sacred place, where the past is remembered and the sacrifices of those who fought are honored. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a place where stories of heroism and hardship transcend borders and remind us of the shared humanity that connects us all. Gallipoli is more than a battlefield. It is a symbol of the triumphs, tragedies, and lessons that define history. Through its legacy, it continues to inspire reflection, reverence, and the pursuit of a more peaceful future.